So on to the first semi-final for the women, and it's Sweden's Emeli Erstиг, who's in the semi-final, and I'm just waiting for my computer assistant to get his act together. Viola Bauer of Germany. So a bit of cheer for the host nation.
But then we have to say, David, that Viola Bauer was going from the first round.
And then Virpi Kuyttunen and Sara Renne make up the quartet. So wearing one on the left of your screen there is Emeli Erstиг. Two from the left there, Viola Bauer. And then in blue, Virpi Kuyttunen, and in all white with the red hat, which is what confused me in the quarterfinals because it's not the normal Canadian strip. Sara Renne for Canada, the wife of alpine skier Thomas Grandi, fifth in the World Championships recently in Bormio in the giant slalom. So away they go, and the rules exactly the same. Only two to go through to the World Championship final to have a chance of winning a gold medal. And a really strong attack there by Emeli Erstиг of Sweden. And
like it was in the quarterfinal, she went away from the others already in the first couple of 100 meters.
Erstиг from Östersund and Sara Renne there sharing the back place with Viola Bauer, but Viola Bauer looked also pretty strong during the quarterfinal. But look at the way that Erstиг has opened up. She's got 10-11 meters over Virpi Kuyttunen, the woman who won the last World Cup Classic Sprint, coming into these championships, the woman who ended the 11-run winning sequence of Marit Bjørgen, who was dumped out of the qualification astonishingly this morning, only the 17th fastest. So Sara Renne, and closest to you, the Finn, Virpi Kuyttunen. On the far side, Viola Bauer, nothing between these three. Meanwhile, Emeli Erstиг up front, running her own race. And Viola Bauer just being counter-attacked there by Sara Renne.
The Kuyttunen problems here, that's a little bit disappointing for the Finns.
Yeah, Kuyttunen being left behind, and remember Kuyttunen, like Kunzel, unable to ski the earlier couple of races, came into the relay yesterday and clearly not 100%. But what about this for Sara Renne into a qualifying position ahead of Viola Bauer? It's not over yet, but they're on the descent in this 900-meter run. And can Sara Renne for Canada keep this going? Disappointment for the Canadians that Becky Scott, their Olympic double pursuit champion, was knocked out of the competition, but Sara at the moment being pursued by Viola Bauer, closing up a little bit Virpi Kuyttunen, and it's Emeli Erstиг by most of the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, but Bauer very strong in the quarterfinals, so maybe she can reach Sara Renne.
Sara Renne double poling now, just raising the tempo. Bauer held in third place, Virpi Kuyttunen in fourth. Just the last three pole pushes there for Sara Renne, and she makes it. Erstиг for Sweden and Renne for Canada qualify, and Bauer goes out with Kuyttunen. And what's really interesting is to see someone like Emeli Erstиг really develop in the way she is, Inga.
No competitions earlier this championships. Maybe that's a good thing for the girl that will win this competition today. And the time for the semi-final was 2 seconds slower than it was in the quarter-final.
So now the second semi-final, Lina Andерсson for Sweden with her teammate Anna Dальберg, and then also Solli for Norway and Sidko for Russia. The two Swedes on the left in white, and it's Lina Andерсson wearing two, and next to her Anna Dальберg.
We had two Finns in that one. Solli was beaten in the quarterfinal with less than 2 centimeters.
Then the Finn, Mona-Lийsa Mальвалехто and Айно-Кайsa Sаарinen. So Sweden versus Finland. I suppose you could call it Mальвалехto. You could call it friendly rivalry. So Lina Андерсson, very good in the relay. This 23-year-old who back in 2001 and before that, well, 1998 to 2001, she achieved no less than 3 gold medals in the junior worlds. So Андерсson on the left of your picture, and then Anna Dальберg, the second best sprinter of the whole season, behind the absent Marit Björgen.
We can have 3 Swedish girls in the final, David.
We could, but the Finns might have something to say about that. It's Mальвалехto in a share of second place, and Айно-Кайsa Sаарinen in the back at the moment. And going through a change there, Anna Dальберg deciding that she wants to set the pace as they approach the one and only climb. And these 3 have opened up a gap from Sаарinen. And this is where Lina Андерсson needs to be really careful, because Mальвалехto, also an extremely good junior, in fact 2 times a junior world sprint champion, needs to be respected. But Lina Андерсson now getting the better measure now of Anna Dальберg. Much better up the climb, much better rhythm and pace.
And she is also a very good long distance runner, Lina Андерсson, so she will be maybe better and better during these competitions.
And interestingly, always a much better classic skier than a skater. Not really a skater.
She's a bad skater, David, we have to say.
But the 2 Swedes now breaking away from the 2 Finns. And remember, this is for a place in the final. There'll be 4 in the final and 3 medals up for grabs. So Sweden will be really pleased with this, because remember, they've got Emeli Эрстиг as well already qualified. So 3 out of the 3 who qualified have actually got through to the final. This is a fantastic effort by the Swedes, and for the first time in this championship they are guaranteed to get a medal.
And like Norway, Sweden were against the sprint when that came many years ago.
But they need to keep this going, as we've seen this finish down the straight here is quite deceptive. The Finns are trying to close, but the gap is too big. And it is a 1-2. Lina Андерсson from Anna Dальберg, who takes first and second. And we have 3 Swedes: Emeli Эрстиг, Lina Андерсson, Anna Dальберg, and Sara Rеннер, the only non-Swede from Canada who is against the 3 Swedes in the final. And the women, the first champion, as you look at the result of this, of the women's competition, Sаарinen in the inaugural World Championship sprint in 2001 ahead of Kati Venäläinen, her teammate, with Julia Chapalova, who was in 3rd place. Julia, who went on to win the Olympic sprint ahead of Evy Sakenbacher, with Anita Moen in bronze. And then 2 years ago, Marit Björgen ahead of Claudia Kunzel and the absent Hilda Pedersen, who was sidelined with flu earlier today. So on to the men's semi-finals. Vasily Rutschev for Russia against the Olympic champion Tor Arne Hetland, the Swede Mats Larsson on a rising curve, and the wise Oddbjørn Helmstedt. So what a fascinating draw we've got here. 2 Norwegians, a Swede and a Russian. And Rutschev, the fastest qualifier, and he looked pretty impressive, didn't he, in the quarterfinals?
He was in his first quarterfinal, but also Tor Arne Hetland was very good in the second. But also Mats Larsson and Oddbjørn Helmstedt are good climbers, so I think we cannot say anything before they are in the finish line here. It will be very close in this hit.
And at 1200 meters, this isn't really a sprint, because tactics do come into play here. So Vasily Rutschev for Russia.
And all these guys are usually not sprinters.
Tor Arne Hetland, the Olympic champion, who you have to say is a sprinter, having won the Worlds and having won the Olympics. Mats Larsson, rising star, and Helmstedt for Norway. What a chance for Oddbjørn. Races very sparingly and has really not done a lot this season.
Almost nothing Oddbjørn Yelme said, but he has trained a lot for sprint this year.
And yet again, another false start. That just shows you the anticipation. And Inge, it's interesting when you see these men go off the start, the power they apply, the skis actually coming off the snow.
Yeah, for many of them, but not for all. I don't think you will see Rochev going like this. Maybe Tor Arne Hetland, also not Mats Larsson and Oddbjørn Hjelmeset has done it all time as a cross-country skier. We said that Tor Arne Hetland was a sprinter, but they also have a second place in the 50 kilometer in Holmenkollen.
Yeah, but I guess since he won the Olympics, we generally think of him more of a sprinter than anything else.
I agree with you.
So here we go. Second time of asking. 2 to go through to the final. This time it was okay. Mats Larsson didn't get left behind, and the power really on. Rochev on the left of your picture. And Mats Larsson, in fact, getting the best breakaway. But now Rochev with that inside line, having the advantage of the draw there. So the two Norwegians at the back at the moment, and it's in third place at the moment to Arne Hetland. Hjelmeset at the back, 3-4 meters off the pace, and 2 climbs to go. And look at that crowd, 16,000 there were yesterday, and I tell you what, Inge, there's 16,000 and maybe a few more out here today.
More into the course, I think.
Really enjoying this, but Rochev leading them, not a merry dance, but leading them. Mats Larsson moving up ominously. Larsson, born in Falun, only 24, and as I said, coming into these championships with his lifetime best performance just 2 weekends ago. But it's changed a little bit now. To Arne Hetland, the Olympic and former world champion, into second place. Mats Larsson third, and look at Hjelmeset begin to move as he did.
And also very good glide for Tor Arne Hetland from the 4th position.
Yeah, but look at Hjelmeset on the climb. This is where he made the move in the quarterfinals. And on the right of your picture there, that's Hjelmeset, who's moving up to get a share of the lead. He knows that he wants to be in front at the top of the descent.
I think the two Norwegians have to be in the front, yes, and especially Oddbjørn Hjelmeset is very important to be in the lead.
But
and he is.
Yeah, and Hetland and Hjelmeset having a real battle here with Rochev, and at the moment looks like pretty good for Hetland. Rochev and Hetland, over the bridge there, and some trouble between the two, and the one who came out of that worst of all was Hjelmeset, and now Hetland sprinting shoulder to shoulder with Rochev, wearing 5, that's Hjelmeset, and they're almost 3 in a line as they come down to the finish. On the far side you got Hetland, then Rochev, then Hjelmeset trying to get in. Hetland just dives with Rochev, and I think those are the two that get through. It's a photo between all 3, but I give it to Hetland and Rochev.
Yeah, it's no doubt about that. He was half a meter after Hjelmeset.
So Hjelmeset, who made that big move on the hill, and Mats Larsson, I'm afraid, well, he just found the power far too great. And there's the photo. Hetland, Rochev and Hjelmeset, a valiant lunge, but a meter off from the other two.
So the Norwegian trainer that said Hetland, Rochev and Bjørn Lind, not bad. Also here Hetland and Rochev to the A final.
And there you can see the tangling up there. And that gave Hjelmeset the chance to get back into, Hetland to get back into it, because it knocked Hjelmeset back to the end of this trio.
It was a move from Rochev, not very good.
But what happened was that Hetland on the far side was able to put the power on just that one stride earlier, and it gave him the victory. But of course, Norway and Russia into the final, but who will they meet? Second semi-final coming up, and that brings together Kazakhstan, 2 Swedes and a Pole. So Chebotko, who's been a bit of a revelation here in terms of the sprinting, and then Fredriksson, the defending champion, but he used an awful lot of power. Here's Chebotko. Wouldn't this be something, Inge, if Kazakhstan can have a finalist?
Yeah, it will, but I think he was a little bit tired in the second uphill in his quarterfinal.
Toby Fredriksson looked pretty tired at the end of his quarterfinal, and Björn Lind, who may be, as you said, more suited, but what we have to watch out for is the most experienced World Championship competitor of the lot, Janusz Kreslok, who, as he showed in the quarterfinals, can come with a real rattle in the last 60 metres of the race. So wearing 3, Chebotko. 7, 2 away from you, that's Fredriksson. Then Lind, and on the far side, Kreslok. And I've never known quite so many false starts, Inga.
No, the starter is very strong today, but also a lot of nerves for the skiers.
Well, on the evidence of that, it would be Chebotko who caused the false start. So Kazakhstan, Sweden, and on the far side, Poland, in red.
I think the man from Kazakhstan can be disqualified. He was too long in front of the line. And he had the first one, too. He can be disqualified.
Well, that I can't quite understand that, because
he's still there.
Well, is he being warned, or is he being warned? He may be being warned. I think he was warned that if he did it again, he would be disqualified.
Take position.
Which I'm quite happy about. And away we go, and Chebotko just a little bit more cautious there, and doesn't get the advantage of the 2 Swedes. Power to the front, and that seems to be the name of the game, with Kreslok trying to go with them, cuts across there, and Chebotko, to his credit now, just beginning to put himself in the race. So Lind, but it's Fredriksson who has the early advantage. And maybe this is a change of tactic now, Inge, that Fredriksson realises that he's got to try and command this.
That's just the reason why he is in the lead just now. Maybe he must have a little gap to the others in front of the last uphill.
So Toby Fredriksson, not easy to defend a title.
Is it a little bit slow here, David? I don't think the speed is as high as it could be.
Now is that Toby's tactics, to hold this at a low pace and then go for that last straight over the bridge and into the last 100 metres? Is that the tactic?
I think so, because he had to struggle a lot to get to come to this semi-final, Tobias.
So if he can set the pace on the uphill climb, that actually helps him.
Yeah.
But look at this, they're all packed together. Chebotko, you sense that he's had enough of this and he wants to get going. Kreslok at the back there, but Björn Lind now moving up. On the left of your picture, the 2 Swedes up front, but the other 2 are pretty close behind. And
Björn Lind very relaxed, I think, in the lead.
Yeah, Björn Lind looking better there. Tobias Fredriksson still struggling, but he's going to get to the top of the hill in second place, and just his sheer strength taking him up the hill.
Yeah, and the 2 others are very in not in good shape in this semi-final.
Yeah, it's just the wear and tear, the toll, the tiredness. Remember, they've skied already the qualification, they've skied the quarterfinals, and it's 2 Swedes making sure that they go in. What a day this could be for Sweden. They could have both champions. They could have the world champion for women and men here. And Lind and Fredriksson, they just need to make sure that they don't relax here too much, because right behind them in third place is Chapotko, still challenging hard. And Fredriksson, look at how hard he's pushing there. Chapotko is closing, but
problems for Björn Lind here in the finish.
Well, almost problems, but Chapotko couldn't quite get there, and Kreslok unable to go through. So in the final, we've got Rutschev and Hetland versus Fredriksson and Lind. The small final and the... Welcome back to Obерстдорф, and I think this is the most painful race you have to take part in, because in the World Cup you might be racing for points, but here you've lost your chance to get a medal. You're racing for a world ranking of 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. So Viola Bauer of Germany, together with Vierpi Kuyttunen of Finland. Two Finns involved here, in fact 3. Wearing 15, Айно-Кайса Sardinen, and also Mona-Lийsa Mальвалехто.
Take position.
So closest to you, it's Mona-Lийsa Mальвалехto, then Viola Bauer, then Saarinen and Kuyttunen, and on the inside it's Mona-Lийsa with that best position going out of the stadium, because the course just turns right-handed. But you know what I mean, Inge? When you haven't got into the final in the World Championships, do you really feel like running this race?
I think for some of them, but for Kuyttunen, world champion 2001, she will not have the motivation as maybe 2 or 3 of the others.
Yeah, I hasten to add she was world champion in the double pursuit. It was her teammate Perjo Maninen who was the sprint champion in Lahti. But Finland trying to block out Viola Bauer, who's just in third place there for Germany.
But for the Germans, maybe it will be good to have a 5th place here. They've not gone their way in these championships.
But it's the youngster who's up front there, Mona-Lийsa. Bauer now on the climb, beginning to show her skill and moving nicely. For Mona-Lийsa Mальвалехto, if she could get 5th here, that would be a real inspiration for her. But you can see Viola Bauer just powered up the first part of that climb.
But maybe she will be a little bit short in the end of that steep uphill. The Finns are come, but they have tired all of them, David. It's been a long day.
And this is not the easiest of courses, but Viola Bauer trying to give the German crowd something to cheer about. The cross-country team results here have not gone as well as they'd hoped. Certainly Jochen Belle, the head coach, a pretty disappointed man. But Bauer from Neudorf, gold medal with the German team in the Olympic relay in Salt Lake City, a bronze in the Olympic pursuit, and a gold also 2 years ago in the World Championship relay. Just holding on here, but the power is coming on. The challenge from the Finns, and it's Bauer being challenged on the far side by Finland. Oh, and it looks like Kuyttunen has just got it. Kuyttunen from Mальвалехto and Saarinen in 4th place. So Viola Bauer ranked 5th in the world. Then Kuyttunen will be 6th, Mальвалехto 7th, and Saarinen 8th. But on the other hand, Inge, world ranking is important in terms of maintaining your national support and also your sponsorship support. So Kuyttunen, I'm pretty sure, has got there, even though they've got the same time.
We have to remember that Kuyttunen was not very good in her health before the championships.
And so on to the final of the Women's World Championship Sprint for 2005. Wearing number 1 for Sweden, Lina, I should say Emeli Эрстиг, the fastest qualifier of all the women in the quarterfinals. Wearing 2, this is Lina Andерсson. And then the third of the Swedes, Anna Dallberg, the most experienced of the 3, and in the World Cup sprint rankings, the highest ranked, and also in her version of a white suit, Sara Renne. So basically, Inge, a commentator's nightmare.
Yeah, and it's also interesting to see that that number 1, 2, and 3 bid numbers also were number 1, 2, 3 in the qualification. That's why they have that those start numbers. So the 3 best from the qualification earlier on today is also in the final. It's only Sаарinen with the start number 12 that's been a little bit better in these races than she was in the qualification.
And that's a little bit unusual to get the first 3 through in this way, but I guess there are no guarantees. Sara Renne could win this championship for Canada and spoil the Swedish day. But let's wait and see what happens. Emeli Эрстиг going away on the right there from Lina Andерсson. And then Anna Dallberg. And then on the extreme right of your picture there is Sara Renne. And the front 2 away. Andерсson nearest to you. And then on the far side it's Lina Andерsson. Emeli Эрстиг, I should say. Behind Emeli Эрстиг there is Anna Dallberg, and at the back wearing 12 that is Sara Renne. So as they go round these twisty turns and they head towards the climb here, Emeli Эрстиг trying to do, Inge, what she's done at every stage today.
But it isn't that easy in this race because she has her teammates together with her.
But there's an argument to say that being out front, not being involved, skiing your own race could be the advantage here. Anna Dallberg just behind there in 3rd place, switching around a little bit, and that also uses up energy. And it's Эрстиг first into the climb there, followed by Lina Andерсson, then Anna Dallberg, who's got the inside track, and Sara Renne not out of it at the back, still within striking distance. But it's Эрстиг, Andерсson, Dallberg, Sara Renne, just too short a stride, not really getting the tempo up there for the Canadian, and the 3 Swedes are away. And what are we looking at here? Are we looking at a clean sweep for Sweden? Today we wonder whether they would get a gold medal or any medal, a silver or a bronze, and they could be greedy. They could take all 3 in one go. They're coming down the hill. They go left, then they go right over the bridge here, and this is a big day for the Swedish fans. They've had no joy at these championships. Per Ellison was their saviour with Jürgen Brink at the last Worlds, but here come 3 Swedish women, and it's Emeli Эрстиг who's away from the other 2. On the inside, Lina Andерsson, closest to you, having a sprint battle there with Anna Dallberg. Anna Dallberg into silver, but counter-attacking Lina Andерsson. Here comes Sara Renne, right off the back there, to try and spoil the clean sweep. Sara Renne for Canada. Becky Scott's teammate getting the better of Anna Dallberg, but it's Emeli Эрстиг who is world champion there, ahead of Lina Andерsson. Sara Renne takes the bronze and denies Sweden a clean sweep. But what a race by Emeli Эрстиг. What a day by Emeli Эрstиг. Every race she's contended, she's led. The fastest qualifier has taken the gold medal. Inge.
Yeah, I'm still here. So we also learn out of this that if you shall win a sprint in a world championship in the future, I don't think you can have that many races before in the same championships. She has been, as you told David, the best all day, Эрстиг, and she was also in a class for herself in the final.
Well, there'll be quite a bit of rejoicing up in Östersund, and that's official victory today for their servicemen who got everything right. In fact, Inge, we've been very impressed today with the way the Swedes are prepared.
We saw it in the qualification earlier today, and we also saw it here. We also seen it for the men all day, and we have a final for the men in a couple of minutes, also with 2 Swedes.
And Emeli Erstиг, when she's not competing as a racer, which is what she does most of the time, an economics and marketing student. But that won't be on her mind at the moment, but marketing will be a factor. She is the new world champion. And Sara Renne, well, that's a terrific result for Canada.
Yeah, they are coming up for the championships. We know Becky Scott and here Saarinen, and she has been competing that long, so it was a good thing for her to keep the last Swede and take that bronze medal. And also for the trainers in Canada, we need Canada also in the future for the cross-country skiing. It's a World Cup, it's only a European Cup, it's also a World Cup, and we need skiers from America and from Asia in the future.
Yeah, Sara Renne, who lives in Canmore, but her roots really from Switzerland. Her father grew up in Andermatt, so much joy. But now on to the small final, as it's called, for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th places in the men's competition. And it'll be interesting to see whether these 4 can raise their game for the occasion, Inga.
Yeah, I think Björn Hjelmeset will be satisfied with the 5th place today. So I also think for the Poland Kreselok, it will be his best result in the championship. So also for the 2 others, I think this will be a great race also in the B final for the men.
And another 4 start. I haven't been keeping count, but that must be the 4th or 5th we've had. And do it again, and you'll be out, Mr. Hjelmeset.
So you can see, he will win this race, David.
You're very confident. So, Chobotko on the left for Kazakhstan, then Hjelmeset, then in white Mats Larsson, and on the far side Janusz Kreslok for Poland, and away they go, racing for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th places in this World Championship, and it's Mats Larsson who takes it up. And Inge, here they go to the first of the 2 climbs.
Yes, and Mats Larsson may be the fastest of those guys. He's also the youngest one of them, so like I told before, Mats Larsson will be satisfied with place number 5 today. Maybe Björn Hjelmeset with medals from both Olympics and World Championships before is that man who is not that motivated maybe in this race.
You're not confusing him with Hetland, are you?
I think Hetland is maybe the best sprinter we have seen for so long, both in the classic technique and in skating technique, and he will also be, for me, the main favorite for the final.
Now here's Mats Larsson, seemed to run out of gas in his semi-final.
I think Mats Larsson is a man for the future, and I think he will be good also in this race, and he has a body made for skiing. He is strong, he is tall, and he has a very good technique in classical technique, also in skating technique. So I think we will hear a lot from Mats Larsson in the future.
But what about the final? The Swedes, okay, they've got the women's world champion, but now they've got 2 opportunities in Björn Lind and also the defending champion Toby Fredriksson.
We saw in the last race that the time for the second semi-final was 6 seconds slower than in the first race. I think Fredriksson is tired just now, and Björn Lind also have a rather big body. I think it will be a race between Rochev and Hetland.
And Rochev, of course, the fastest qualifier. Well, that's to come after this. And Yåmle moving into second place and getting ever closer to Mats Larsson. Needs to move up a little bit now to use his sprint finish as they come over the bridge. And this is where you need to really take that speed over the bridge. Larsson getting going. Here comes Yåmle, just sitting on his ski tails. You sense that the Norwegian is going to come through and deny the Swede. Still 1.5 meters to go. Still half the straight to go. Now Yåmle powers it on, double poles. Look at the way he goes through the gears, Inge. Impressive.
Yeah, but it's the young one against the old one. I think the young one, okay, Yåmle will be 20 centimeters in front of Larsson.
Just that knowledge of how to lunge.
That was good for Oddbjørn Hjelmeset, I think, so he can compete for more years.
So 5th place goes to Oddbjørn Hjelmeset. Mats Larsson will be ranked 6th in the world, and then behind that the other two men, Kreslok and Shabotko, in 7th and 8th. But now, Inge, let's look forward to the final, and the two Swedes against the Russian and the Norwegian. So, 4 men, 3 medals. Who's going to be unlucky?
So both Hetland and Fredriksson, they have both gold medals from championships before. Rochev and Bjørn Lind not. Bjørn Lind earlier very fast in the qualification and for the quarterfinal, but not that good in semifinals and finals. Maybe he's better this year.
Arne Hetland, the world's leading sprinter coming into these championships, the top sprinter in the World Cup, and he heads the men into the final. In second place on the list there, Tobias Fredriksson, the defending world champion. Vasily Rochev really showing as the fastest qualifier that he has to be respected, and Bjørn Lind, the second best sprinter behind Tor Arne Hetland of the whole season. And of course, Sweden with 2 opportunities here. Can the defending champion retain his crown? Can Bjørn Lind win his first major medal? Can Tor Arne Hetland regain the world title that he won in 2001 in Lahti? Or can this man Fredriksson hold on to the title from 2003? Or will Russia's Vasily Rochev spoil all those celebrations?
Important for Tor Arne Hetland not to be far back for the others in the second uphill. Usually he do that.
So it's Hetland on the left of your picture. Then the defending world champion second from the left. Then Rochev in that dark strip, and Lind for Sweden on the far side. Well, that was almost a false start, but we are away, and Rochev gets the early stride there from Fredriksson and Lind, and Hetland is just 4th, but early days. Inge.
Yeah, this is very exciting, David, and as I told, Hetland must have a little bit better position in the last uphill than he had in his semi-finals. Stronger man here in this race.
Now Fredriksson, who in his semi-final tried to lead up the climbs to control the pace, and it worked, but only just. And it's Rochev from the Olympic champion, and the Olympic champion now beginning to look a lot better, and struggling at the back there is Bjørn Lind.
He had no grip. How can it be in a final in a World Championships? So we can say no to Bjørn Lind, and then I'm a little bit disappointed of the speed for Rochev.
But what's happened to Bjørn Lind? How can they get the ski preparation right all day and then come to the final and make a mess of it? But he's got absolutely no chance. He's booked for 4th place, and it's between these 3 for gold, silver and bronze. And it's Russia from Norway, from the defending champion for Sweden, as they go up the all-important second climb. And this is where Hetland needs to make his move.
Yeah, and we can see that Tobias Fredriksson he also have some problems here. And Hetland, like Marit Bjørgen when she is in her best, he will be in the lead at the top.
Well, Rochev being very gritty there and coming shoulder to shoulder. And as these two dice, it just gives a glimmer of hope there for Toby Fredriksson in third place. Hetland gets to where he wants to be, up front. Now he tucks down, aerodynamic, holding that speed. Rochev as well, they're in Indian file. They swing right, then they come to the bridge, have to carry the speed down here. The more correction steps, the more they cut it off. The man in red for Norway, he comes down, remember, Norway, who've been so dominant in classic sprints. Rochev looking to counter-attack, and Toby Fredriksson, the champion of 2 years ago.
But Rochev is coming.
Rochev is coming now on to Toarni Hetland, and they are almost level. 50 metres to go. Rochev gets the advantage. Hetland is dying, tries to counter-attack. It's a photo. Rochev! Rochev for Russia ahead of Hetland, and it's a goal for Russia for the young man, the junior, who is now a man who has come of age and denied the former world and Olympic champion, and Hetland, who just didn't have any gas in the tank.
I think it cost too much for Hetland in the last uphill to take the lead at the top. Maybe that was not a good disposition for him.
And I think the big turning point, actually, Inga, if we could see that again, was when Hetland went into the lead. What he didn't expect was the counter-attack of Rochev, and that may have surprised him.
And the glide is also better in the second position than in the first position.
So a Russian gold medal, their second one here on the cross-country trail. Julia Chapalova, of course, in the double pursuit. And now Vasily Rochev, a quiet season, but he's come here well prepared, and he's taken that all-important gold. But I have to say, Toarni Hetland not looking too disappointed, Inge.
He is very satisfied with the silver medal today. He had no good season this season, Toarni Hetland, so this was the best ever this season for him.
And Toby Fredriksson, well, he wasn't the measure of these two men today, but the defending champion gets a bronze medal, and altogether a pretty good day for the Swedes. Overall, they are the best sprinters in the world at these championships, because they take gold and silver and now a bronze. And Björn Lind, well, I spare a thought for him. He must feel absolutely gutted that after a long morning, he gets the worst set of skis in the most important
I think they
race.
had forgot to have grip wax to Björn Lind today. Also a good start for the rush.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the action here. Emeli Эрстиг of Sweden is the women's world champion, and Vasily Rochev the men's. From Inge Broughton and myself, David Goldstrom, bye-bye from Oberstdorf.